What's going on, guys? You're watching Codwins, and today we're going to be talking about GTA V and Cyberpunk 2077 are two of the most played open world games ever created. They have a massive fan base that is critical of every little feature in those games. Although Cyberpunk 2077 has only been released in 2020, GTA V has been around since 2013. So in this list, we're comparing GTA V and Cyberpunk 2077 against one another. Now, before we begin, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on anything. Right, let's get right into this list. Interactions with NPCs. Now, NPCs, for those who don't know, are non-playable characters, or you can just think of them as random bots and people you just see strolling around the game. In GTA V, if one of those characters is instigated by the player, they generally respond with equal force, meaning that they actually put up a fight. They also show more of a reaction to being randomly and violently punched. However, if this is compared to in Cyberpunk 2077, NPCs in that game just run away when they attack. They have no pushback. Their only reaction to being beaten up is to scamper off, and this shows much more detail and thought that's been put into the NPC behavior to GTA V at least, a game released 7 years ago. Driving mechanics. One of the most fun things to do in both games is to just drive around in a car. Listening to the car rumbling along as the world passes by is one of the best feelings any game can provide, especially in open world games where the map just stretches on and there's always a new place to explore you've never been before. The dynamics of driving the vehicle are pretty much the same in both games. One area where they differ, however, is when you drive into something. In GTA V, when a car is deliberately crashed into a giant cactus, the plant just falls over while breaking off a few pieces. However, in Cyberpunk 2077, when the situation is repeated, the plant completely shatters into minuscule pieces. It's obliterated. This is not what would normally happen in the real world, so I guess if the developers of Cyberpunk 2077 are looking to do some more pizzazzy stuff, then they're on the right track. But if they're looking for more realism, then I guess they have some work to do if they truly want to compete with the likes of GTA V. Shooting a car. Now, while this might not be the most scientific of tests, this does show just how accurate the physics in both games are to the real world, at least. When a car is shot in GTA V, the player is shown the damage just as it should be, meaning that if a window is shot, it breaks apart. If a tire is shot, it gets deflated. However, when those acts are repeated and the consequences are attempted in Cyberpunk 2077, the results are a bit different. One of the most surprising and mildly infuriating things is that when a window is shot, even though it completely shatters as it should, the impact points of the bullets remain where the window previously was. This graphic defect is obviously incorrect, because if the window was completely broken apart, then why is there just hovering things in midair, huh? Although there is one feature in Cyberpunk's favor here, and that is that when a car blows apart, the explosion is much more dramatic than the one shown in GTA V. However, once again, you've just got to give the points here to GTA V. Water textures and movements. Generating any huge bodies of water in games is obviously a difficult hurdle. Both of these games tackle this problem in different ways. In Cyberpunk, when the player drives into the water, the computer-generated graphics leave a lot to be desired. Even before jumping into the water, the surface of the water lacks any real texture that should be expected from a game released in 2020. Under the water, the scenes are usually murky with sparse details on the seabed. On the other hand, however, GTA V, which, as a reminder, came out in 2013, has lots of details and textures in the ocean. When the player swims around, their hands are shown in much more detail than in Cyberpunk 2077. Even underwater explosions are much better generated in GTA V. These are the tiny but crucial details that Cyberpunk developers just should have paid a bit more attention to and put some more time towards. One thing both of these games get right is the sound conveyed to the player, however. The flowing water around the player sounds pretty spectacular and makes the whole experience more mesmerizing and, I think, lifelike. Attention to details. Now, there are plenty of issues fans have with Cyberpunk 2077 at the current state it's in. One that I see popping up the most is the attention given to details. This is clearly explained by an example in which a person jumps from a bridge. In GTA V, when that happens, the person dies as they should have if they had done that in real life. However, in Cyberpunk, the person just walks away after doing the same. Another tiny detail is when a player shoots someone in a particular spot. In GTA V, shooting a person in the knee causes them to fall to the ground while clutching their knee. But in the case of Cyberpunk, nothing happens. The person just gets a bit scared and crouches down, even though they have just been shot. These are some minor details that Cyberpunk has gotten wrong. Okay, so with those 5 main points we've made there, this is an overall gaming comparison between 2 highly advanced open world games. Judging by the reaction of people buying the game and reviews we're seeing online, it is pretty clear that the developers of Cyberpunk have a long way to go before they can even think about coming close to GTA 5 in terms of gaming dynamics. However, in my final thoughts, I'm going to retcon my entire argument here and say that I don't think it's fair to compare GTA 5 and Cyberpunk in the way I have in this video. Because as I've stressed at multiple points in this video, GTA 5 has had a lot more time to perfect everything. Because even though GTA 5 was developed at an older date, that means that it's had more time to patch and perfect things and add things. Cyberpunk 2077 has just come out. Of course, it was going to be riddled with problems. Most games are. In fact, GTA 5 was riddled with problems the day it came out. And just like GTA 5, Cyberpunk 2077 gets way more things right than it does get things wrong. And so while we can definitively say that GTA 5 does a lot of things better than Cyberpunk 2077, I think it's only fair that we give the games time. As a community, what we can continue to do is give our feedback to the developers and provide them with our opinions, and then they can go from there to fix the things that need to be fixed. And so with a bit of patience and feedback from us and a bit of work from the developers, I think that Cyberpunk 2077 could one day be up there in the standing with GTA 5. And with that, guys, that does bring us to the end of our video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, then let us know by liking the video. Stick around for more amazing content, as we will soon be seeing you guys in another video. Until then, take care and goodbye.